Archangel Michael reveals, they are smiling in public, but secretly speaking death over your name. At exactly 2:22 a.m., a whisper reached heaven. It was not the cry of fear, but the pulse of betrayal. A name was mentioned, your name, not in reverence, not in kindness, but in curse-laced murmurs. Cloaked behind polished smiles and staged laughter, they invoked your name with tongues dipped in death, and the heavens took notice. This message, carried on the wings of divine urgency, is not for the many. It is not for those content in comfort, blind to the spirit's shudder. It is not for those distracted by the noise of crowds. No, this word is for the ones who feel everything before it is spoken. This is for the ones who tremble in their spirit before the blow ever lands. It is for you, the spiritually sensitive, the one heaven marked before man ever knew your value. Archangel Michael now steps forward with flaming sword drawn and wings unfurled, not in poetic flair, but in holy intervention. He speaks with the authority of divine command and the clarity of heavenly vision. This is not mere suspicion. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy. And it is being unveiled not to stir fear, but to prepare war. For far too long, you have questioned your instincts. You felt the strain in your soul around certain presences, and still, you smiled. You have heard the silence after your exit and felt the tightening in your chest, yet still, you extended grace. But no more. Heaven declares, the veil has fallen. The one who laughs in your light and curses you in your shadow has been exposed before the courts of heaven. This is not gossip. This is warfare. This is not bitterness. This is awareness. The smiling enemy, the one who claps while you speak but clinches envy in secret, have been identified, not by your own wisdom, but by divine discernment. Heaven knows. Archangel Michael proclaims, only in silence will you hear the truth, and that silence is not empty, it is filled with angelic instructions. You are being summoned into spiritual stillness not for defeat, but for download. A divine decoding is underway, and the frequencies are too high for noise. Your quietness is where heaven will thunder. This message is time-sensitive. By the time the sun kisses the earth again, a sign will rise. It will not be subtle. You will feel it in your bones. You will hear it in their voice. You will sense it in the spiritual winds. The friendly mask will start to twitch. The laughter will ring hollow. The eye contact will become fleeting. The atmosphere will betray their intent. Mark this moment. 2:22 a.m. with the divine dispatch. And from that second, the angels began to move. There has been a shifting. The winds have changed direction. The whisper of betrayal was caught mid-air, and now Archangel Michael is tracing it to its source. Not to condemn, but to correct. Not to retaliate, but to reveal. You have been praying for clarity. You have been pleading for protection. This is your answer. This is your divine exposure. And though it may shake your emotions, it will solidify your spirit. This is your separation season. This is where God begins to highlight who is truly for you, and who has only been close because of what you carry. Let your soul awaken to this truth. You are not imagining this. You are perceiving a reality others cannot comprehend. The reason it feels heavy is because He is holy. The reason it disturbs your peace is because it distorts your path. And heaven will no longer allow what is counterfeit to share space with what is consecrated. You are being elevated, and elevation requires purification. This is not rejection. It is protection. Type I receive the warning in the comments if you feel this word stirring in your spirit. Blessing code 1444 has just been activated over your discernment. There is a moment when heaven can no longer stay silent. There is a moment when the weight of your warfare summons divine intervention. That moment is now. Archangel Michael does not come with soft words or passive presence. He arrives wrapped in divine fire, wings aflame with holy justice, and eyes that pierce beyond flesh into the chambers of the heart. With a voice that shakes realms, he declares, the time of blindness is over. The hour of exposure has come. By sunrise you shall see the first sign. To the one listening, to the one discerning, to the one trembling under spiritual pressure, this message is your confirmation. You were not wrong. You were not too sensitive. You were not overreacting. The unease in your spirit was not weakness. It was warning. Heaven whispered it before you saw it. And now, the angel of war has stepped into your realm to make the invisible visible. This is not paranoia. It is prophecy. Do not dismiss it. Do not downplay it. You felt the shift. You've seen the signs. You've wept without knowing why. Your discernment has been hijacked by politeness, but heaven is dismantling every false peace that has silenced your discernment. The one who smiles in your face but speaks against your name in shadow. They have been weighed, and heaven is sounding the alarm. This message is not for the many. It is not for those who see only with natural eyes. This word is encoded, embedded with truth too holy for carnal comprehension. You are being called out of the crowd, because what surrounds you is not affection, it is assignment. And the one assigned to you has a counterfeit posture. Their warmth is a weapon. Your laughter is a veil. Their compliments are cursed. But fear not. Archangel Michael is not here to scare you. He is here to guard you. This sword is not drawn for intimidation, it is drawn for intervention. Heaven does not merely reveal what is hidden. It stands between you and every plot spoken in darkness. For every death word whispered over your name, an angel has been dispatched to intercept it. By the time the first rays of dawn stretch across your sky, the first sign will rise. It may be subtle, a glance that doesn't match the smile, a hesitation in their voice, a slip of the tongue. Pay attention. This is not coincidence. This is a heavenly code being broken open in real time. Heaven wants you to be awake. Awake to the energy that drains you. Awake to the people that pretend well. Awake to the atmosphere that shifts when you enter the room. Awake to the weight that follows certain conversations. You are not paranoid. You are prophetic. The one who is smiling in public but speaking death in secret. They are walking on thin spiritual ground. What they thought was hidden is now being pulled into the light. And this is not your doing. This is God's doing. This is a divine disruption. Type I am awake in the comments if you feel the fire of this revelation in your spirit. Blessing code 1010 is igniting a shield of divine discernment around your name. They speak in tones that sound sweet, but your soul winces at the sound. They smile, but their eyes betray something their mouth will never confess. You can feel it, can't you? The hollowness of their praise, the artificial tone of their joy when you rise. Something in you recoils not from fear, but from falsehood. They watch when you're not looking. They whisper when you're not near. This is not a metaphor. This is a spiritual truth unraveling in real time. Their conversations are cloaked in courtesy, but drenched in envy. When you walk into the room, they adjust their mask. But when you leave, the dagger is drawn. Have you noticed it yet? The strange anxiety that creeps in when they speak your name. The unexplained tension that clings to your skin after you've been around them. the dreams that stir unrest, that mirror betrayal. This is not imagination. This is spiritual warning bleeding into your emotional realm. There's a reason your spirit is restless. There's a reason your soul is exhausted after brief encounters. Your peace is allergic to their presence. Your anointing agitates the demons they've tried to befriend. You are not tired from the work. You are tired from the warfare. And it's not always loud. Sometimes it shows up in confusion, in doubts that rise without logic, and sudden waves of sadness or suspicion. This is not a lack of faith. This is discernment under siege. Why does their presence exhaust you? Why do their questions feel like traps? Why does their laughter sound forced when you speak of your future? Because they have tasted your calling, and it intimidates the insecurities they refuse to confront. They know parts of you but not your truth. They cannot see your purpose, but they sense your power. They are drawn to your light, but offended by your shine. And this contradiction breeds confusion. You try to reconcile the two, but the math never adds up. That's because spiritual warfare cannot be calculated by natural means. You're not crazy. You're under observation. The enemy studies what he fears. And you, beloved, are feared more than you realize. So now, confusion must break. You cannot afford to second-guess what heaven is revealing. The discomfort you feel is God's way of making sure you don't settle in deception. Emotional arrest is the alarm system of the soul. And right now, yours is ringing. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. Do not be deceived. What is happening around you? The whispers, the draining conversations, the tension behind the smiles, is not mere human dysfunction. This is not petty jealousy. This is not coincidence. This is war, and not of flesh but of spirit. Archangel Michael thunders now across the heavens to remind you, this is spiritual sabotage disguised as social discomfort. You are not under attack because of who you are in the natural. You are under attack because of who you are in the spirit. The adversary does not invest this much effort into someone ordinary. The depth of this disruption is evidence of your divine significance. Hell does not rage against the unnoticed, it rages against the anointed. The betrayal you are sensing, the words you feel slicing the air after you leave the room, are not just from broken people. They are from borrowed vessels. Vessels unknowingly cooperating with spiritual forces designed to derail your destiny. The attacks you endure are not for destruction, but for distraction. Because if the enemy can pull your focus down to the natural realm, he can disconnect you from your spiritual posture. But not anymore. Not now. Not with heaven watching. God has allowed this moment not to harm you, but to heighten you. You've been praying for discernment. This is your answer. You've asked to be prepared for your calling. This is your training. The smile that carries a shadow, the compliment laced with envy, the friendship that sours in secret, they were never meant to be forever. They were meant to be revealed. And you are now ready to see them for who they truly are. Heaven did not allow this conflict because you are weak. It allowed it because you are strong enough now to face it. God let the disguise last only long enough to teach you the language of discernment. What once confused you will now become your clarity. You will no longer beg for explanations. You will no longer argue with your intuition. You will know. You will see. And you will separate without guilt. This is not abandonment. This is alignment. Your calling is ascending, and elevation requires elimination. You cannot carry yesterday's counterfeit loyalties into tomorrow's divine assignment. Some betrayals are actually blessings, because they release you from relationships that heaven never signed off on. Archangel Michael declares, nothing escapes heaven's court. Every whispered lie, every slandered word, every masked interaction, it is all recorded. You are not walking through this season unseen. There are angels surveilling every room you enter. There are watchers surrounding your name with divine intelligence. And what you do not hear in the natural, heaven hears with clarity. This is the hour where God is training your eyes. Not your natural eyes, your spiritual ones. The betrayal is sharpening your vision. The pain is heightening your perception. You are learning to recognize the spirit behind the smile. And once you see, you cannot unsee. But do not grieve this revelation. Do not mourn the false. Rejoice, because clarity is a gift. And the more you see, the more heaven can trust you with greater things. You were not meant to be blind in this season. You were meant to walk as a watchman, alert and discerning, guarded and guided. Type I am a watchman in the comments if your spirit bears witness with this word. Blessing code 1717 is releasing clarity and divine perception upon you now. There is movement in the unseen. Even now, as you listen to this word, a strategy is being forged in silence. They think you are asleep. They think you are distracted. They believe the mask they wear is still fooling you. But heaven is laughing. Because while they plan, God is positioning. While they whisper, heaven is warring. Archangel Michael issues this urgent decree. Within 72 hours, their mask will begin to slip. And it will not be by your force. It will be by divine interference. The energy is shifting. The spiritual temperature is rising. Heaven is turning up the heat so that what was hidden can no longer be concealed. There is someone, somewhere, preparing to speak against your name. Not in whispers this time, but publicly. There's a plan to humiliate, to discredit, to smear what God has anointed. But who this? Heaven is instead said, for every plan formed against you, there is a plot in heaven's courtroom that renders it powerless. What they say will not stick. What they try will not succeed. What they scheme will not touch the oil upon your life. For you are not standing unprotected. You are wrapped in prophecy. You are covered in fire. And God himself has declared, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. This moment is critical. Do not be distracted by their calm demeanor. The storm they are preparing is not emotional, it's spiritual. But while they prepare chaos, God is establishing covenant. While they mobilize slander, God is mobilizing angels. Your name is in the mouth of heaven, and justice is being written in silence. Let your soul be still, but your spirit be alert. This is not the time to explain. This is not the time to confront. This is the time to discern. Heaven is exposing them not so you can fight, but so you can step aside and let God perform his judgment. The mask will slip. Their words will betray them. Their energy will crack. Your plot will fall apart mid-sentence. Because what they are fighting is not you. It is the anointing on you. And you, beloved, are sealed in divine favor. The spiritual warfare will intensify. But take heart. The increased opposition is not a sign of defeat. It's a sign of destiny. The closer you get to the throne room, the louder the resistance. But the louder they become, the higher heaven lifts you. Your public attempt to destroy your name will be the very event God uses to elevate you. What they meant for evil will boomerang back on them. And all of this within 72 hours. Time is ticking. The countdown has begun. Not to your fall, but to your rising. Type "I am guarded" in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit has already sensed. Blessing code 333 is igniting supernatural reversal in your favor right now. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence, in the spiritual realm, is warfare in disguise. And in this hour, Archangel Michael brings a divine instruction that will perplex the carnal mind but deliver the spiritual warrior. Do not respond. Do not retaliate. Do not explain. Respond in silence. There is a sacred stillness that terrifies the enemy. When you stop speaking, heaven starts moving. When you withdraw your energy from chaos, God releases angels into the battlefield. You were not meant to fight every ruler. You were not designed to chase every shadow. You are not called to defend what God has already covered. In silence, strategy is revealed. In silence, discernment sharpens. In silence, your oil is preserved. Because in this war, your words can become weapons, but your silence becomes a shield. Archangel Michael stands now with flaming sword lowered, not because the battle is over, but because the next move belongs to heaven alone. Stillness is your strategy. This moment is not for reaction. It is for revelation. The enemy wants you rattled. They want you explaining, proving, overextending. But don't take the bait. The noise is meant to provoke you into stepping out of your covering. But silence keeps you hidden. Silence keeps you shielded. Silence keeps the oil unbothered and the mantle untouched. Every time they mention your name in slander, let heaven respond with thunder. Every time they twist your story, let God be the author who writes the vindication. You are not required to correct what the Spirit is already confronting. The more still you become, the more powerful your presence grows in the spirit realm. The enemy cannot track what he cannot trigger. Speak divine affirmations over your silence. Whisper them when the urge to react rises. Declare with faith, I am covered. I am guarded. I am watched. I am led. I am chosen. These are not empty phrases. They are spiritual armor. They are declarations that activate angelic presence around your atmosphere. Withdraw emotionally. Step back spiritually. Not from fear, but from wisdom. This is not retreat. It's preservation. You are not losing relationships. You are shedding sabotage. Your anointing is too precious to be poured out where dishonor is tolerated. And in this season, God is calling you to preserve your oil. You cannot waste it on people who mishandle your presence. You cannot exhaust your virtue proving your value to people too blind to recognize it. Archangel Michael speaks now with fire in his breath. You are hidden in the shadow of the Almighty. No word and curse can cross the bloodline. No plot can outmaneuver divine providence. Your silence is your sanctuary. Your stillness is your sword. God is fighting where you cannot speak. In rooms you are not present, He is dismantling lies. In conversations you will never hear, He is exposing truth. Do not worry about what they say. Heaven already ruled in your favor. Your name is not being tarnished. It's being transferred into a realm of divine protection. There is a court in the spirit where truth is not debated. It is declared. And your silence has allowed your case to be brought before that holy tribunal. A verdict. You are exonerated. You are elevated. You are sealed. So now be still, and let God show you what He can do when you say nothing at all. Type "I am still" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 555 is covering your silence with divine fire. You are not collapsing. You are transforming. You are not being broken. You are being built. This conflict, this tension, this betrayal was not the end. It was the beginning of your metamorphosis. Archangel Michael proclaims with thunderous might, this is your moment of becoming. You were not created to be a target. You were crafted to be a weapon. Let every tear you've cried remind you, this pain was never punishment. It was pressure, the kind that forms diamonds, the kind that forges warriors. You are not just surviving this season. You are being sharpened by it. Every dark word they spoke behind your back became fuel in your bones. Every death sentence whispered over your name became a fire in your belly. You are rising, not in silence but in strength. You are the storm they didn't see coming. You are the answer that emerged from their affliction. They tried to bury your confidence. They tried to smother your truth. But in the silence, you grew teeth. In the silence, you found wings. You were not meant to stay small just to make others comfortable. Archangel Michael shouts, the weapon they formed against you was not only broken, it was reversed. What they meant to break you is now breaking open new realms for you. You are not weak. You are dangerous, dangerous to every lie, every curse, every demonic agenda that hoped you'd shrink back. Your silence has produced substance. Your stillness has forged strategy. And while they kept speaking poison in the shadows, you were in the cocoon of God's glory, transforming, unfolding, igniting. And now, you are emerging. And when you emerge, you will not apologize for your brilliance. You will not apologize for your healing. You will not apologize for surviving. They will choke on the words they spoke in the dark. Every lie will sour in their mouth. Every slanderous attempt will be a mirror, showing them their own decay. For what you carry cannot be cursed. And the name they tried to bury is the name heaven is about to elevate. You are no longer walking in survival mode. You are advancing in sovereign mode. Your posture is shifting. Your aura is strengthening. Your spirit is roaring. You are fire walking. You are prophecy breathing. You are miracle manifesting. This is your power phase. And no mask, no whisper, no shadow figure can stand in your light. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $50. Your support makes these powerful messages possible and is deeply appreciated. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if this truth resonates in your bones. Blessing code 1516 is now activated in your life. The winds have shifted, and now revelation comes rushing in like a holy flood. Archangel Michael steps forward, not just to declare victory, but to reveal the strategy of heaven. What you thought was random pain, what you perceived as accidental betrayal, it was all divine orchestration. The betrayal, the exhaustion, the confusion, the whisper campaigns, they were never the root. They were only symptoms of a deeper spiritual war. Heaven pulls back the veil now. Your altars, hidden altars, secret agreements in the spirit made to delay your rising. They were never against your personality, they were against your purpose. The enemy raised false altars of accusation, altars of envy, altars of slander in the secret places. But God, in His mercy, has allowed the pressure, not to punish you, but to reveal the setup. The whisper of your name in rooms you've never entered wasn't just gossip. It was ritualized resistance. Some of them weren't just talking. They were casting word curses, performing acts of verbal witchcraft. But listen, every altar raised against you is now trembling under the weight of divine justice. God allowed it only so he could dismantle it publicly and prophetically. Your elevation demanded exposure. You cannot carry that anointing with unresolved access points in your circle. Heaven had to purge your path. It had to uncover the hand behind the handshake, the snare beneath the smile. You prayed for promotion, and exposure is part of the price. Because before the crown comes the cutting away. This is your unlocking. You are not just being freed from people. You are being freed from spiritual strongholds. Chains you didn't know you were carrying are breaking now. Curses that had lingered in your bloodline, silenced. Assignments sent to drain you, dismantled. This is not just personal healing. This is spiritual clearance. A vault has been opened in the heavens. A scroll bearing your name is being unsealed. The name they tried to discredit is now written in the archives of divine victory. The doors they tried to shut are now shaking off their hinges. The platforms they tried to block you from are being reserved by an angelic instruction. You are about to be called into rooms they swore you would never enter. And this time, you're not walking in with insecurity. You're walking in with fire. You are not timid. You are tested. You are not wondering if you belong. Heaven already gave the confirmation. The false ones spoke against your name because they saw what you carry. And that's the irony. What they tried to bury is what God is about to broadcast. You were always known in the heavens. Long before they knew your name, heaven whispered it through eternity. You have been chosen since before the beginning. This is not your rise. This is your revealing. You are not being made. You are being unveiled. This betrayal was your birthing room. The slander was your sanctification. The abandonment was your announcement. Everything is being reversed now, and not just spiritually but visibly. The prophetic fire on your name is so intense, the enemy won't even be able to watch what happens next without trembling. Your scroll has been opened. Your name has been cleared. Your destiny is now being voiced in places far beyond your reach, by the same God who orchestrated your deliverance in silence. Type "My name is sealed" in the comments if you feel this prophecy unlocking your soul. Blessing code 1212 is now writing victory over your identity. Now is the moment. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now, Archangel Michael sounds the trumpet of destiny and commands you to rise in full authority. Not as a wounded survivor, but as a kingdom warrior. No more whispering prayers when your voice was crafted to roar. No more walking on eggshells in rooms God called you to command. This is your destiny activation, and it begins with your decree. Say it aloud, from the depths of your being. I cancel every word curse spoken over me. Not one whisper will prosper. Not one death sentence will land. Not one lie will outlive your truth. The power of life and death has always rested in your tongue. Now you are using it with divine clarity. This is not just self-help. This is spiritual warfare. You must declare, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Not because it sounds poetic, but because heaven backs it. You must speak like someone who understands that angels respond to authority. You must act like someone who knows the courtroom of heaven is standing still, waiting your command. You have been given access. Use it. Your alignment determines your assignment. This is not the season to hesitate. Obedience is your unlock code. God is not just calling you to believe, He is calling you to move. And that movement requires boldness. You've been circling the same doubt for too long. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of being too much. But that fear is not your portion. Favor is. You've already been validated by the Spirit. Stop waiting for man's permission. Walk like the favor has already landed, because it has. Act like the doors are already opening, because they are. Speak like the audience is already listening, because heaven already approved your voice. This is not arrogance. This is anointing. There's a difference. Arrogance forces itself forward. Anointing flows in alignment. And you, beloved, are in divine alignment now. The shaking you felt wasn't instability. It was heaven adjusting your posture to receive more. Everything is shifting now. Even your aura. Even your countenance. Even your footsteps. People will begin to ask what changed. They will sense the authority. They will feel the heat in your atmosphere. Because when destiny activates, it radiates from the inside out. And you won't need to prove it. You'll just walk in it. Archangel Michael stands behind you now, wings outstretched, sword lifted high. Heaven has surrounded you with power. There is no more delay. There is no more hesitation. The moment of decision has passed. You have stepped into the river of divine movement. Flow with it. Trust it. Release the fear. Walk in power. Because your next step is not about trying, it's about taking. Taking back your name. Taking back your peace. Taking back your time. Taking back your joy. Heaven is waiting on your boldness. The throne room is echoing with your name. Type "I am in alignment" in the comments if this truth ignites your soul. Blessing code 888 hath been released to empower your divine footsteps. In the sacred corridors of the unseen, something holy has already occurred. Long before you heard the slander. Long before the betrayal broke your heart. Long before the spiritual heaviness invaded your nights, heaven had already moved. Archangel Michael reveals now with authority and sacred assurance, your name has been retrieved from enemy hands. Your record has been restored in the courts of the Spirit. The silent exchange has already begun. While you wept, the angels went to war. While you questioned your value, heaven was archiving your victories. While your heart grieved the words spoken in darkness, the Spirit was speaking your name in glory. This is not hope. This is evidence. This is not optimism. This is divine legality. A file has been opened in the throne room, and your name is on it. Not the version of your name shaped by gossip. Not the twisted narrative they formed in envy. But your true name, sealed in the ink of divine purpose. Your file contains every sacrifice you made when no one was watching. Every prayer you prayed when you had no strength left. Every act of kindness done in secret. Every betrayal endured without retaliation. Heaven does not forget what the earth ignores. The courtrooms of heaven are not chaotic. They are strategic. And while they were busy speaking death over your name in backrooms, angels were submitting petitions in the throne room. Petitions not for punishment but for divine exchange. What was taken from you? Your honor, your momentum, your trust, your voice, is now being returned sevenfold. You did not lose in silence. You traded. You traded grief for grace. You traded betrayal for breakthrough. You traded wounds for wisdom. This was not passive suffering. This was a sacred transaction. And in that holy silence, your crown was adjusted. Archangel Michael thunders. The shaking in your spirit was not warfare. It was a signing. Your elevation was being signed off in the presence of the king. You weren't losing ground. You were being elevated in secret. While they mocked your stillness, they did not know you were sitting in spiritual meetings they weren't invited to. There has been a holy hush over your life, not because God was absent, but because He was working. Your silence was divine cooperation. Your refusal to speak was prophetic obedience. And now, the verdict is being finalized. The restoration is being written. The honor is being reinstated. You are no longer the same. Something irreversible has shifted. The oil on your life is heavier. The authority on your voice is deeper. The grace surrounding you is unshakable. Because what was stolen in darkness is now being returned in light. You must understand this. Your name carries weight in realms you cannot see. You are known where it matters. The angels recognize your walk. The Spirit echoes your prayers. Heaven tracks your tears. Your spiritual identity is not wrapped in the betrayal you endured. It is forged in the silent exchange that took place while you trusted God instead of reacting. This next chapter of your life will be marked by unexplainable favor. People will wonder how it happened. They will try to trace your rise. But they will not find it, because it happened in the Spirit. It happened in silence. It happened on holy ground. And now, the earth will only witness the aftermath of heaven's ruling. Type "I have been vindicated" in the comments if you feel the fire of this confirmation. Blessing code 1111 is now releasing divine restitution into your realm. This is not just about recovery. This is not just about healing. This is divine justice, the kind that heaven has reserved for moments like this. Archangel Michael now raises his voice with thunderous certainty. What they buried you with, God will build you with. Every lie spoken against you will return with supernatural force, not to destroy you, but to elevate you. You've waited in silence. You've warred in prayer. And now, the gavel is dropping in the throne room. Justice isn't coming. Justice is here. It's not delayed. It's been in process, measured in glory, timed with precision. And the reversal has begun. The same mouths that tried to dismantle your name will now become witnesses to your breakthrough. The ashes of what they left you in are now forming bricks of divine legacy. The God who watched every injustice is now building you with the very rejection they hurled like stones. You were not buried. You were planted. And now, what looked like the end is only the seed of your new beginning. God is not just restoring you privately. He's preparing a table, and not in secrecy, in the presence of your enemies. This is not vengeance. This is visibility. This is not bitterness. This is brilliance. Your light is about to expose their darkness, and heaven is not asking permission. You are walking into prophetic reversal. That means every attack is being undone with interest. Every lie will become a ladder. Every curse will fund your calling. Every betrayal is becoming your backdrop for glory. This is not a fairy tale. This is scriptural order. The last shall be first. The rejected shall be rulers. The stone they cast aside is becoming the cornerstone of this entire move. Heaven is laughing. The angels are rejoicing. Because the very ones who thought you were finished are about to see the fire in your future. And the best part, you won't have to explain a thing. The results will speak louder than any defense you could have made. The reversal is aggressive. It's sudden. It's sovereign. Don't be surprised when old doors open. Don't be shocked when enemies bow to the elevation they tried to block. God is not just defending you. He is rewriting the narrative, and you are the headline. Archangel Michael declares with finality, This is the hour of divine reversal. Rejection is becoming royalty. Tears are becoming titles. What hurt you is about to honor you. This is spiritual justice, not because you demanded it, but because heaven decreed it. You didn't have to fight dirty. You didn't have to manipulate. You didn't have to force your name forward. You simply remained faithful, and now justice has found you. Type divine justice is mine in the comments if you feel this word resounding in your bones. Blessing code 2020 is now reversing the tides in your favor. The deception is now uncovered. The veils have been lifted. The smiles that once masked sabotage have been torn open by the voice of heaven. They smiled, but their heart was black ink, scribbling curses behind every handshake, sketching death behind every cheer. But none of it worked. Not one curse landed. Not one scheme took root. Not one whispered word reshaped the identity God authored over you. You are no longer bound to what was said in shadows. Your name is no longer tethered to their narrative. You are free. You are sealed. And no word curse can find you now. For you dwell in the secret place of the Most High. You are hidden in divine light, covered by celestial wings, guarded by the very angels who encamp around the chosen. The judgment of heaven has been rendered, and it is this: you are shielded by heaven, strengthened by fire, and surrounded by light. You will not fall. You will not fade. You will not fold. What once haunted you has now become the footstool beneath your rising. The power they tried to rob from you is returning with overflow. The name they tried to desecrate is now drenched in divine honor. Let it be known in heaven and declared in the earth. Your name is rising. Not by man's efforts, not by manipulation, but by divine decree. And your enemies, every single one, will have no choice but to watch, not to gloat, not to provoke, but to witness the justice of God unfold in real time. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. This is your moment. This is your mantle. This is your miracle movement. Now rise. Type "I am sealed by heaven" in the comments if this closing word resonates with your destiny. Blessing code 7777 is now completing the prophetic cycle over your life.